Okay, so hello, this is my channel. Gene 8 specifically is my channel, and oh my gosh, I'm so awkward. Okay, so anyways, I haven't posted a video in like a long time. So recently I've done a lot of shorts and such. I've posted on TikTok a lot recently, and I have been doing a bunch of my original characters from my original story and like their backgrounds and like just funny moments through TikTok sounds and all of that. And I thought that it was about time I start introducing you guys to it. So this is going to be a video about my original characters and their story. And all of that fun stuff. I do have a speed paint planned, obviously, like if you can tell by the title of the video, but like I'm just doing a quick rundown of the world before I get into the characters and their backstory and such. This world that these three characters are in is called Itzorion, and there are three races: dragons, elves, and humans, and each races have different powers. The elves are based off of like elements, the dragons are based off of seasons. Don't ask me how those powers work, I'm still working on it. And humans are just, well, they're humans, there's nothing else really to them. I mean, except each, well, I mean, I guess there is something to them. Anyways, so in this world there is this magic power called Argia, and when a dragon, elf, or human turns a certain age, they get this thing called a special mark. Well, it's not called a special mark, it's called a mark. I just say special mark to emphasize, and I'm just rambling at this point. So these marks give enhanced abilities depending on the mark. Think of it like classes in D&D, or in like an open world game where there are knights and monks and whatever other things are in the open world games. These marks, there are three of them. There's Mark of the Swift, Mark of the Strong, and Mark of the Steady. I'll explain each mark as I get on drawing the characters because, surprise, my three characters all have different marks. Wow! That's not surprising at all. It actually does a lot into the story. Like, the races and the marks all like come together because my story is very much dependent on the world building and all of that. And I actually, I have a lot of world building. I've recently done a lot more world building in like the past year or so. Actually, pretty much done with it, and I'm actually working on writing now. I got like 12 documents on world building, and I'm just gonna skim through it for you guys because if I do that, if I just go through each and every one, we are going to be here all day. All day. So, we're just gonna ignore that right now. But pretty much in this world, there are those races, and those pirates, and there's multiple stuff. Like, it's just every fantasy reader's dream, which is a lot, honestly. That we got like the typical like baby steps of the world down. Let's get into the characters and their backstories and such. Okay, so now that we got like the world building and all that done, let's get into the characters. This is Amrin Veimys. She is a summer dragon, which means that she has the power to change. Well, actually, I don't really know because I'm still working on the magic of dragons. That's the main thing I'm working on. Like everyone else is done. World building's done. Dragons' powers I'm still working on. But dragons in this world, they have the ability to shapeshift from human to dragon. And honestly, they prefer not. They really, really prefer to stay in their dragon forms. But they do have a human form just for the sake of it because it's just easier. So Amrin, Amrin comes from a long line of summer dragons, but she actually did not grow up on the dragon isles, lands, whatever you want to call them. She was actually kidnapped when she was young, and that's a lot to get into because it's tough. To put it simple, she was adopted by some not so nice people, and her so-called adopted father died again. Well, not again, but he died, and that caused her to like run away from them, and she ends up meeting the headmaster of the academy that this entire story is actually based on. Well, some of the story is based in. And so she stays there until the beginning of the story, whenever she actually gets enrolled into this college. Amrin is a very, like, hyperactive, ADHD, happy-go-lucky girl who, despite her backstory, is happy to have a smile on her face at any given point in time. She loves, like, shopping, partying, cooking. She's very headstrong and very, very, like, easily, how do I put this? Not to say she'll jump into a fight. She has her quirks and she has her fears, like all of my other characters. Amlin's thing is that she actually can't transform into a dragon form. This is due to something in her past that has caused her not to. So her like entire like story is figuring out a way to get into her dragon form and such. So as going back onto like the mark section is she has the mark of the strong. So like mark of the strong is mostly geared towards dragons and such. They actually the marks each have like their own abilities and such. So people who have the mark of the strong, they are typically very headstrong and very loyal, and often use heavy-hitting weapons. As you can see in the drawing, Amrin is holding her beloved axe. I'm still working out mechanics of marks, but, well, some of them, I know, like, the gist of it, obviously. That's it for Amrin, and we're going to move on to the elf of this group. Okay, so we are officially on to the elf of this group. My idiotic self, because I'm using a new art program to do these drawings. I just recently got Clip Studio Paint, and I forgot to press record time lapse when I began it because I'm coming from Procreate, which automatically does it. So I forgot to press record time lapse, so I do not have the time lapse of the sketch, only the coloring in the background and such. But this is Violet Ember. She is a fire elf. Well, obviously she's a fire elf. I mean, her last name's Ember. But she comes from a line of elven knights. So Violet has the Mark of the Swift, and the Mark of the Swift, typically elves, because elves are very, what's it called? Agile. That's the word I'm looking for. They are very agile and such, and so Violet actually wields a bow, and originally in the concept I did have a bow, her holding a bow, but I have not perfected the, what's it called? The design of the bow. I had an idea, but then like I was like, oh, this mechanic would be really cool, and so I have to redraw it and refigure it out. Violet is very driven. She loves studying. She loves writing. She's very like if something needs to get done, I will get it done. So she is very like often locks herself in her room to study, and she doesn't really listen to other people's opinions. She always like she thinks that like her way's best because she thinks any opinion is kind of like childish, and so like it's kind of like a her way goes kind of thing. The elves are known for their like they're known for like their fancy like lifestyles and such. Elves are always respectful, which actually does counteract her entire no one else's opinion matters, but like so there's that. So that's pretty much Violet, and we are on to the final character of this series. Okay, so we are on to the final character. If you have seen anything on my channel, you'd probably recognize this character. Heck, even if you look at my profile picture, this is actually Crestlight. She is my main OC, and I am like severely attached to this character because she was my first OC. She is literally well, she's not a self-insert because I look nothing like her and I act nothing like her. But I do post like fanfiction on Wattpad, and she's like my main OC in there. And I have some like a fanfiction on Amino that she stars in. But she does actually have her own story, and this is it. So at first she was more of like a background character because I did not have like anything on her character sheet at all, which really pissed me off. So I kind of just like took some aspects in her old character sheet and like completely redid it. Because I was like, oh shoot, she's like bland. And so she came from like 3 pages of character sheet to a whopping 8. um, but so Jean grew up in she's a human, and she grew up in she grew up in a knight family as well, but instead of elven knights, she grew up in like the human knights. Well, okay, so in the world, I forgot to explain the government. I can't believe I forgot to explain the government. Okay, so like quick pause here. So the government in this world, it's divided into the races and then one person overall. So like there's this island in the middle that is for like everyone. It's like a cross of all the races, and it's ruled by it's a mixture between an hierarchy and a democracy. Democrat words. um, it's kind of a mixture between hierarchy and shoot, I don't know these words. I don't know politics. But pretty much, it's monarchy. Monarchy. That's the word I was looking for. It's a mixture between like a monarchy and a democracy. Um, so like each race has a ruler, but they work together with like the ruler of the world, if that makes sense. So like the humans have a ruler, the elves have a ruler, the dragons have a ruler, and then there's one ruler overall. Um, so Jean's parents Jean's dad, yeah, Jean's dad, Jean's dad works for the king of the mainland. And her mom's kind of like a stay-at-home mom. Jean was raised to be perfect. She's not. She like the entire reason of why she moved to the academy was because she was like, I need to get it. Like, I need to follow my own dream. As like one of my shorts says. I forgot what one of my shorts says. Shoot. um, because her family wanted to raise her to become a knight, like a knight, a warrior, whatever you want to call it. Um, but Jean wants to kind of follow her own path, and so she moves to the academy because like that's the farthest, and that's the place that makes the most sense without running away from her family and like leaving her brother there. Um, so she was very much like forced into a position of leadership in her family, and like she was like kind of pushed forward to like be the best and such. And so she as well often hides in her room. Not as much as Violet, but she doesn't believe in making any friendships or relationships due to a lot of her friendships and relationships having fallen apart in the past. She often seems cold and like very closed off to like everyone around her, even more so than Violet. She has the mark of the steady, which is like the most rare. Um, it's given to those who are like peacemakers and are kind, and because of her mark, that's another reason of why she was pressured so much. Is because she had like the most rare mark, so great things should have been expected from her and such. Yeah, so that's Jean, and yeah. Okay, so like that's the end of this. All of my characters not all of the characters I've explained. I've got like a million side characters. I've explained all of the 3 main characters, and I hope to do one of the boys, because obviously, like, I'm a romantic. despite never being in a relationship. Each of these ladies has, in some form or another, a love interest. Whether they're going to be canon at the end, I don't know. I haven't decided. As some authors say, the characters write themselves. So I hope to actually do the boy version of this if this ends up well. I have no idea how this is going to turn out on YouTube or anything. Judging by my stuff in the past, not well. Those are my characters, and if you have like any questions about them or the world, feel free to tell me. Oh, I mean, ask me in the comments, please. I've got like 12 million folders and documents of these characters, and I want to talk about them more. But stay tuned for like any I'm working on animations and such of them. I post shorts. I try to post shorts like every Tuesday and Thursday. Whether I do or not, I don't know. I have been doing it recently, so that's good. But most of the shorts are about them, and some of them are just edits of drawings I make. But so stay tuned for those. I'll probably be doing more videos like this. This is actually the first voiceover, well, the second voiceover I've ever done. The last one doesn't technically count because it's not public. It's private because, oh, it was bad. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.